Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel and to all my videos and my podcasts and however you're listening to me. I really appreciate your support. In this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's come up recently for me that I did not realize was an INFJ thing. I think it also is a very much hypersensitive, highly sensitive individual thing or an empath thing. But I think a lot of INFJs will probably relate to this video, and it has to do with the idea of tags. And I'm talking about the clothing tags that a lot of random clothing companies seem to put on their clothes and think that's a good idea. Now, a lot of companies are realizing the fact that people don't like tags and are making them removable, so you can kind of take the tag off as soon as you receive the item. But I noticed for the longest time as a child, I was a very sensitive child. I used to be sick all the time. I remember a story my parents told me. I was drinking my mother's milk for maybe 2 months, and then my mother weaned me off and put me on cow's milk in in Yemen, where I was living in the Middle East. And we went to India for a visit for a holiday, and my mom gave me Indian cow's milk, and for some reason, as soon as I had it, I started getting all these black boils on my body, and I got really sick, and I was sick for a week in the hospital. Extremely sensitive for some reason. As soon as she put me back on the normal milk that I was drinking normally beforehand, then I was fine again. It's such an odd thing. The body has all these random reactions to things, and you're like, but why? This is everyone else drinks it. Why do I care about it? And the same thing kind of applies to tags. You know the tags that I'm talking about? These are tags that are on the back of t-shirts or on the back of sweaters or jackets. They have all these random tags. And for the longest time, I'd wear clothing that had these tags on it, and I'd be really annoyed by it. I could always feel it. It was always there in the back. And I could always see it and feel it, and I could feel it itching, and I could feel it irking me, and I'd always be like adjusting myself. And my mom understood eventually, soon enough, that I was annoyed by all these tags, and she'd always remove them for me as much as possible. She'd remove them and make sure that most of my clothing was clean and proper. But it wasn't just the tags that bothered me. It was also the material, the fabric that I wore. It's really important to me that the fabric that I wear is really soft to the skin, not itchy in any way. Wool really irritates me. It has to be synthetic, soft material in some way, or cotton or organic cotton in some way. Just soft material. The material itself matters a lot. It's interesting to me when I walk through a store. Everyone else is looking at colors and all that stuff. For me, the main aesthetic pleasing thing about a fabric is the feel. And so I'm always feeling the material. I'll be passing by a bunch of material and I'll see something I like, and I'll be like, I'll feel it first. I won't even look at anything else. I'll feel it on my fingertips, and as soon as I like the feel of it, if it feels soft and it feels like something that I'd want on my body, that's the only point where I actually will look at the material. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how expensive it is, or how cheap it is, or how beautiful it is. If the material sucks, I am not getting that item. It does not matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's the best item on the planet. If the material doesn't feel good on my skin, if it doesn't feel good when I touch it with my fingers and let it rub against my arms, if it doesn't feel good, then that material is off. It does not matter what it is, right? So whenever I walk through a store, my sister will be looking at a lot of different other things. She's an INTJ, and I don't think she cares as much about material. Not as much as me. She does care, but not as much. And so she'll feel the material will be fine. It's okay. But for a lot of times, I'll pick up a piece of fabric and I'll be like, you're going to love this. This is a really soft fabric. And she looks at the color and she's like, but it's red. I'm never going to wear red. I'm like, oh, right. I never even look at the color. If the fabric is good, then I know then that item is going to be good for me. The same thing with the idea of tags. A lot of manufacturers, for some reason, have, especially in Canada and the US, we have a lot of rules, a lot of regulations. We have 2 different languages that it has to be presented in, English and French, and it's absolutely mandatory for both of those languages to be represented. And you have to add a lot of information onto those tags, like what material it is, if it has something organic in it, or if it's recycled, or it's a billion things that have to be added to that tag. How it has to be washed, what are the care instructions, and so all that information is on the tag. And I'm just sometimes thinking to myself, the tag itself is longer than the piece of cloth that I'm wearing, and that's the reason a lot of times I'll be sitting there and I'll be looking at the tag, and I'm like, there's no way in hell I can wear this item unless I completely tear the tag off. And in a lot of cases, you can't completely tear it off because it's always in the background. You can feel it. You can actually feel it itching against your skin. I was speaking to an INFJ friend of mine recently, and she said exactly the same thing. She said that she has a big issue with tags, a big issue with fabric in general. She actually said the words that she hates clothes sometimes. She wishes that she could just walk around naked all the time. Unfortunately, I mean, she loves fashion. She loves clothes, but she hates them as well because of this entire thing about fabric. We're so hypersensitive. Not only are we hypersensitive in terms of the people that we engage with, or the emotions that we engage with, or the ideas or feelings that are coming at us, but we're also hypersensitive to the items that are on our body. And that's one of the reasons I've completely switched over to an all-natural skincare regime. I don't use anything else except natural organic coconut oil on my skin, on my face, and on my body. I don't use anything else. I don't use sunscreen anymore. I don't use any kind of other face cream. I don't use any kind of other lip balm. The only thing that goes on my body is coconut oil. On my face, coconut oil. On my hair, coconut oil. Or anything natural. Even my shampoo is made up of coconut oil. And I make sure that everything that goes on my body, within my body, outside my body, everything is as natural as possible. As much as possible. Now, sometimes it's a little bit hard because you have to sometimes put things in your body that are not. But as much as possible, that is how I live my life, because I know my skin is so sensitive that if I put anything random, that I just won't be able to bear it. The same kind of idea applies to perfumes and colognes and all of those interesting scents that people like to put on their body. I can't bear it. Sometimes I'll go into an elevator, especially in the Middle East. They love their scents. They really, they just kind of like pour it on, like they're putting water on their bodies. I don't know how it is. It's just so much scent. And so I'll walk into an elevator and all you can smell is that scent. And I literally feel like I'm suffocating because it's just too much scent. It's just too many chemicals in the air. I've also read research that says that perfumes and colognes are one of the highest pollutants in indoor air, which means that a lot of people who are putting a lot of cologne on themselves are actually polluting the air around them and polluting their own bodies with it. So, I mean, if you can avoid it, avoid colognes and perfumes as much as possible. So that's another thing that kind of translates, because we're hypersensitive not only to our environment, but everything that goes on our body, in our bodies, outside our bodies. The same thing with veganism. A lot of INFJs I find, or a lot of hypersensitive individuals are turning to veganism because you can feel the sensations or the ideas or thoughts or feelings of the item that you're eating. You are what you eat, and you're also what your food eats. So if your cows are being treated in a crappy way, the meat that you're eating from the cows that you're eating are treated crappily, and they're being tortured, or they're in a lot of pain before they die. All of those emotions are being translated over to your body and to your cells, right? You're not going to be away from that. You can't get away from that, right? And so a lot of INFJs I know are actually turning to veganism, or at least vegetarianism, because they just can't bear the idea of all of those emotions coming into their hypersensitive body and making them feel terrible. I don't know if it's reality or not, but a lot of times in the past I would eat meat and I would instantaneously feel sadness. Now, it might be because of something else, but a lot of times I felt like it was because the sadness and the emotions of the meat or the cow or the whatever the animal was that I had eaten was transferred over to my own body, and I was feeling their emotions sitting in my body. Now, you don't have to agree with that. You don't have to believe in it. Obviously, a lot of you are probably meat eaters, and that's totally fine. The reason I share this with you guys is because I want to show you guys that you're not crazy. If you're feeling all these emotions, if you're feeling the hypersensitivity of the fabric that you wear, the clothes that you wear, or the scents that you're putting on your body, or the detergent you're using to clean or wash your clothes, or to clean your counters, kitchen counters or bathroom counters, all of that translates over to your body. All that stuff is coming into your body and changing your body chemistry and affecting you in ways that you don't even realize. So if you are hypersensitive in any way, if you're an INFJ, or if you are hypersensitive in any other way, and if you are an empath, all of those emotions, feelings, all of the stuff that you're feeling is not only just being affected by the people in your life, right? Not just the negative or positive people in your life, but also the negative, positive food that you put in your body, all the negative and positive ions that you're putting in your environment, and all the positive or negative items you're putting on your body in terms of the clothes that you're wearing, perhaps the leather you're putting on your body, or the cotton that you're putting on your body, the way it was treated, the way it was created. all of that stuff actually matters. Interestingly enough, a lot of us like to ignore it because there's just too much to think about, obviously, right? Like, I mean, sometimes you're like, oh my God, what else do I have to worry about? I understand completely, but as much as possible, little by little, try to remove all of these pollutants from your life. So make sure that the clothes that you wear are not are tagless, hopefully, but also made up of material that really feels pleasing to your skin. Make sure that the stuff that you put in your body and on your body is pleasing to you as well. Make sure that the pollutants in the air around you are minimized to are as minimum as possible. Don't use cologne, don't use perfume as much as possible. Use natural deodorant, natural scents, lavender essential oils, or things like that. Right? There's so many ways for us to, especially right now in the world that we live in, to improve our lives and improve our senses and improve our hypersensitivity by reducing all the pollutants in our life. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. I kind of touched on a couple of different topics in this, a couple of different things in this video, because there's so much I want to talk about, especially in terms of natural living. And I know a couple of you guys have asked me questions about it, so I thought I'd share what I do for myself in this video. If you guys have any questions at all about the stuff I do and about other things that I haven't mentioned in this video, please let me know. I'm always here to answer your questions. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.